Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Marvel Monday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Marvel Legends series Zabu Build-A-Figure Waves Black Winter. Let's get into it! Let's begin with a look at the packaging. And here on the top flap here, we have Build-A-Figure Marvel Zabu, assortment number 4 and up. Warning, don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. Marvel print, Legends series. Here on the front, it says Legends series. Then nice big window showcasing the figure and accessories and Build-A-Figure piece. Marvel Black Winter, Thor. Hasbro print on the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print, made in China print, symbols I'm not going to learn, and a barcode. On this side, we've got some nice artwork of Black Winter as Thor. And same artwork on this side. And then a larger view of the artwork on the back. And while we're on the back, we'll talk about Black Winter, Thor, Marvel Legends series. Black Winter, the devourer of universes, materializes as a dark version of Thor in order to threaten the god of thunder. Always a bad move. There it is again in some other language. Build-A-Figure, Marvel's Zabu. Here's a digital render of the completed Build-A-Figure along with the cross-sale. Numbers here correspond to numbers here and shows you which figure comes with which part. And the cross-sale is Superior Iron Man, Black Winter, this figure, Wolfsbane, ka-zar, Red Widow, Icarus, and Marvel's Cable. Each sold separately, subject to availability. Attention, especially don't stick things in your French pie hole. Warning, attention, Octoon, don't stick things in any other language pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to babies. Marvel print, Hasbro print, small fine, legalese made in China print. That, my friends, completes our look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And first up, we have the Build-A-Figure piece, and it looks very, very nice, and we'll cover this in more detail when I cover the Build-A-Figure. Now we have handy-dandy tweezers in order to take a look at some of the smaller pieces, which by smaller pieces, I mean the extra set of hands he comes with. And so there's this like splayed finger reaching hand, and it is very nicely detailed. It's on an in and out hinge and looks really, really nice. You can even see his fingernails, and just it looks really, really good in that color. And then the other hand is Mjolnir wielding hand on an up and down hinge, and again it's C-grip. And again, nice molded details and nice color. Next up, we have Mjolnir itself. And it's kind of molded. It's hard to say. Like, you want to say that it's a translucent-y plastic, but it's so thick, it could be a translucent-y plastic, and you just can't tell. But then you'd think you'd be able to tell here on the handle, and it does seem to be translucent plastic, at least here. This may or may not be. I'm assuming it's the same plastic, and this is just so thick it's not really translucent-y, or it may just be the dark color of it. But regardless, it looks really cool, and you can notice there's no inscription on Mjolnir. But lots of nice little details in it. And then the handle, of course, it's got this wrap, and then the pommel down here. So very nice looking. A new piece, at least I haven't seen it before, is this energy smoke effect that fits on Mjolnir, and I'll show you how that works in just a second. And as you can see, it just fits right in there. And you would think this would kind of be, well, this is translucent plastic too. I can see it just a little bit right here at the tip, but it's so thick with this dark color, it just doesn't show well that it is molded in that translucent plastic. Now, as far as Mjolnir goes, it does have a small imperfection down here, so that's the side I like to put into the effect first. And you just put it in there and it clips in there, and it stays pretty darn good. So that's a cool looking effect. Now if we'd only get something like that in lightning, that would be cool. So let's take a look at Black Winter himself. And I have to say, I think this is the same head sculpt or the same face sculpt portrait as Galactus Herald Thor, and then they glued a different hair piece on it, and of course it has different deco on it. But speaking of the deco, look at that around the eyes, in the eyes, around the eyes, and just on the face. There's all kinds of shading going on, and then it looks like the lips are a slightly different color. So very cool. And then all of his overlay here is in black, and it's molded that way. So are the shoulder pads, and then the arms are most likely molded in this color, and then this is an overlay, the wrist guards or gauntlets, whatever they're actually called, and then the legs molded in color, and looks like the boots as well. And then this looks like a separate piece. It feels like a separate piece, and it is. It's glued on there. So, and then we'll go around to his cape, which is a translucent-y plastic, and because it's much thinner than the other stuff, it's much easier to see a little bit through it, at least shade and stuff. And it does look like it maybe has, no, I was gonna say some shading on it, but that's probably just where the plastic is a little bit thicker. Yeah, but you can see it's all tattered and stuff, and it looks pretty cool. Now, you know, I'm not a big fan of plastic capes, but you know, can't afford to buy cloth capes for everybody. And then this one is glued on, it looks like, right here on the straps. These straps come over the shoulder and are glued on, or at least one strap is. This side is just glued in right here. So, but very nice looking overall. Let's take a look at his articulation. He looks up slightly. He can look down that far, but this hairpiece gets in the way a little bit. He's got some chicken neck. He's got some waggle. He's on a hinge and ball. So let's see. Can he do the Exorcist? He can do the full Exorcist, so that's nice. At the shoulder here, this armor piece is on a strap that goes down into the socket, and it's pinned through with the arm, so it moves around with the arm and doesn't really get in the way too much. 360 degrees of rotation. He can raise his arm up that high. Cut here at the upper bicep for a full 360 degrees of rotation. Single hinge and swivel at the elbow. Swivels around 360 degrees and gives you a little better than 90 degrees worth of bend. 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist on in and out hinge, and in and out hinge on this side as well. Cut where the chest and the abdomen meet, and it gives him some hula going on there, but it's pretty tight. So he can lean left and right a little bit, and then he can lean back that far, so that's not bad. He can lean forward that far, so it's okay. And then there's nothing at the waist, so 360 degrees of rotation at this cut. At the hips, he can give you that much of the splits. He kicks forward, we'll call that approximately 90 degrees. It might be a little less than that. And then back about a full step. And this is a very soft plastic, and it's not really hindering the articulation or the range of movement there very much. Cut in about, well, the upper mid thigh, I guess. So 360 degree rotation there. Double hinged pinless. Is it pinless? Yeah, it's pinless. So double hinge pinless knee gives you that much bend, and then nothing in the shin. At the ankle, tilts down that far, tilts up slightly, and forward facing pin for rocker. And that, my friends, is a look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Marvel Legends series, Zabu Build-A-Figure Waves, Black Winter Thor. With the Marvel Legends series, Controller Build-A-Figure Waves, Herald of Galactus Thor. For our final set of comparisons, here we have the Marvel Legends series, Zabu Build-A-Figure Waves, Black Winter Thor. With our final Marvel Legends series comparison, making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison, from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Marvel Legends series, Zabu Build-A-Figure Waves, Black Winter Thor, I have to say, the Herald of Galactus look for Thor is probably not my favorite look for Thor. My favorite, of course, is the classic look for Thor. But I do think the Herald of Galactus Thor is probably the best Marvel Legends Thor action figure that we have thus far received. And the fact that they did another character on that mold, which makes sense. I haven't read the comic story, but from what I understand reading the back of the packaging for this figure is that he takes on Thor's form to communicate and threaten the God of Thunder, which is never a good move, to threaten the God of Thunder. But just the fact that we're able to get a reused version of this Thor mold, it's good to me. And the fact that it's a completely different character is cool too. I like the translucency of the cape. I'm more of a fan of the wired look, or soft goods, wired soft goods for capes. But in this case, I don't know how well it would work getting those tattered edges like this and that translucency for a soft goods wired cape. for this figure. So even though I prefer the posability of a soft goods cape, I think in this particular instance, the plastic lends itself better to this figure. And the effect on Mjolnir, that of course is removable to us, so that's cool. You know, I think that's really cool too. And he comes with that instead of, I think the Herald of Galactus Thor came with some lightning accessories. So instead he gets the smoky trail for his version of Mjolnir. And I think that's really cool looking. But like Ragnarok's spinning hammer effect piece, that effect piece does tend to make for difficulty posing because of the weight of it. And you know, so that's a drawback to this one, is that you know, the effect piece does have a little bit of weight on it, and tends to weigh down wherever he's holding Mjolnir. Now I like the sculpt of, you know, the ethereal floating hair. I think that looks really cool. It kind of reminds me of the Marvel Legends series, What If Zombie Wanda. And so I think that's a really cool look for this figure too, seeing as how he's supposed to be kind of a non-corporeal being, I think. And it just, you know, gives him some wispiness, I suppose. Or it could just be that his hair's floating in space with no weight, and so that could be it too. But you know, again, this is one of my favorite Thor action figures, at least the Herald of Galactus version of it. So I'm glad to see that mold getting some love and some reuse. And so, but this figure on its own, you know, it's a pretty good figure too if you want an evil version of Thor. So, you know, that's kind of cool too. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you're interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content, or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.